Welcome to another episode of the House Huddle Podcast. Here are your hosts, Rob Schwartz and Justin Onayemi, two Bears fans who decided talking into a microphone was better than shouting at their television.
What's up, House Huddlers?
Huddle up!
All right, we're better than HBO. Justin's back.
I have a bedtime, man.
I know. What the hell was that?
Is it going to happen again this week?
I have a feeling it might.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, we're going to...
Well, why week one? Was it like prompt? I mean, maybe it was 8:01 it came out.
Right.
Well, we might not do it.
I might have a backup plan for us. I'll talk to you about it.
I don't want to talk too much about that.
No.
There's a lot better things we could talk
That's
about.
off record. How's it going, House Huddlers? I'm Rob Schwartz, as always. My co-host and great buddy, Justin Onayemi. We're going to talk about the preseason game yesterday, and that's basically what this whole episode is going to be about.
Well, this is episode 84.
84.
You guys might think it's the Mercedes Lewis episode, but Rob, you're going in the Wayback Machine for a guy.
Yeah. I mean, we grew up with Bobby Wade. I mean, he was there for,
There you go.
what, 5,
There you
6
go.
seasons at least?
Scrappy receiver.
Yeah. Him and, what was the other guy? Ingram? Like those two guys.
Yeah. Wade and Ingram.
Kind of similar type of players, right?
Yep.
So yeah, we'll just do this the Bobby Wade episode. If you guys have a better 84, leave the comments. Guys, we love the comments. There haven't been as many flowing lately. A lot of from Philip. Right?
Comments, likes, subscriptions.
Yeah. So if you subscribe, automatically entered in to get a free Chicago Bears jersey. Okay? That's all you got to do.
Your choice.
Subscribe. Boom. You're in the giveaway. That's
so
it.
many great options.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through them all, but as you hear this episode, you're going to hear so many guys that you're excited about. You'll want the jersey.
Right. So I think just like last week, I think we're going to start with Caleb Williams, and then we'll go into some of the other players, because there definitely were some players who stood out to me just as much.
Okay.
If not more.
Wow. All right. Let's do it.
Maybe I shouldn't have put a plural there, but at least one.
How do you want to start off?
Yeah. So I came up with what I thought were Caleb Williams' 3 worst plays and Caleb Williams' best 5 plays. I don't have the all 22 film this time because we're recording a day earlier than we did last week. It's not out yet. So I'll put these up, and then you tell me if you agree or disagree. What's kind of interesting though is 1, 2, and 3 are in chronological order.
Well, and you didn't tell me what plays you picked.
He has no idea.
But I just feel like he came out with the early jitters, and it was the first home game. Maybe there was a little bit of that, but
maybe.
Again, I don't know the plays you're talking about.
I mean, let's also think too, they just played them in a practice 2 days prior.
Right.
So
well, he
a
played
lot
against
of this,
their ones.
Yes, correct. But I mean, the coaches, they got to see some of this stuff. So it is possible that a lot of this stuff was going to be, already seen. We'll talk about it later, but no, we won't talk about it because it's not one of my videos. We'll have to talk about it later. But the sack where they yell screen. I mean, something must have tipped them off a little bit there. Was that something they saw in practice? Was it just that they read the play that well? I don't know. We'll have to get that.
All right. Well, we'll go with your plays, and then I want to speak kind of broader.
Okay. All right. So this to me was Caleb Williams' worst play, and it was the very first one.
You just sailed the ball, right?
Yeah. And again, it wasn't bad, horrible, right? It was not horrible.
So I thought it was a bad play, obviously a bad throw. But what I like about most of his bad throws I've seen, they're still only catchable by his guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he sails it. Only Allen had a chance. Really didn't have a chance.
No. And it wasn't going to go anywhere really anyway. But I will say it seemed like they were trying to get him to get the ball out fast in the beginning of the game. So I don't know if they're just trying to speed his clock up, trying to work on those timing routes. But he is, as great as he is in almost every area, his worst area still is the short. Well, in the short, like intermediate, dump off type game. And we saw
they're going to have all season. They're going to have to find the balance between not coaching out what he does that no one else can do,
right?
Or maybe one other guy.
Yeah, maybe.
But his improvisation, is one of his strongest suits. But you also want him to play on schedule. And to your point, hit quick short, medium passes.
All right, so then we're going to go to play number 2, which ironically, again, is the second play of the game. I'm going to pause.
They ran the same play in the other game.
Yes.
It's the exact same play.
So let's just rewind it really quick.
Even I knew that, and I'm not a defensive coordinator.
But I
hit
almost
more.
feel like
Just
you
throw it
could
to more.
still hit more.
Yeah,
right.
he could have.
Yeah.
I don't know why he decided to go to.
Worked as well as last week, right?
Right.
He probably would have only gotten 3.
Well, he might have broken 9
yards.
tackles.
That's true. He did last week. Maybe he didn't see the linebacker behind him coming back. That's the only thing I can think of, because if he dumps it off,
yeah,
Everett's got the inside there. But
I mean, I don't want to use what they talked about on the broadcast, but it is Jim Miller who knows a thing or two about quarterbacking.
Right.
He says that pass is there later.
Okay.
You still should have stayed on your read to Moore, and then if you needed to come back, you find Everett later.
Okay.
But he kind of rushed it to Everett for some reason.
Again,
even if he catches it,
he's not going anywhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah. Again, I do think it maybe, like you said, maybe the jitters. Okay, and then this is the last one, and the reason why
the last of the bad.
The last of the bad, and I'm gonna actually. What's funny is I actually think that there's a very positive thing that happens in this play.
And this is the third play.
This is the third play.
1, 2, 3.
They
got him all out of his system early.
3 and out.
Well,
okay.
They did that thrice.
What I love is
good
how he climbs the pocket,
good protection,
sets his feet, but then there was a miscommunication there.
Yeah,
right?
And they called intentional grounding on him. Although Eberflus tried to argue if you're not actually pressured, it's not supposed to be called.
And also, like, my other thing too was, like, I know you're inside the pocket, but like
the guy cuts left and you throw it over. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's just a miscommunication thing. Like, clearly, and I think it's Roma Dunze. I can't really tell from the video right now, but like, is it 15?
I think so.
Yeah. It's either that or it was Tyler Scott.
Yeah.
Either way, like, if the receiver goes the opposite direction, like the quarterback threw it, it's already in the air. Like, I mean, how do you? And it went way past 10 yards.
Well, so here's the thing.
I got to look into this rule a little bit more.
So here's the thing. Honestly, I think backing them up was good because Torrey Taylor would have punted it out of the stadium had they not been backed up a little bit.
Okay, good point. Good point. Good point. Good point.
That'll be in my broad overview of the game. But when the offense looks pretty pedestrian or it's not clicking, it's nice to know you still have a weapon in the field position battle.
Yes. 100%.
He outpunted his coverage.
He did.
But they had a personal foul. So it went from Bears 8 or something to their 20.
Yeah.
In total net gain.
All right. So this was my 5th best play.
So working up to his best play.
Working up to his best play. We're going opposite way of what we did with worst.
Love it.
And it's a really simple play.
1, 2, 3.
Just boom. The way he
and they needed it at this point.
Right in.
I think that was the first completion, maybe.
It might have been.
Yeah, they needed something, and so just to get.
Actually, I don't think it was because they had that one that was to Everett that went
nowhere, 1 or 2 yards.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this was needed.
It was
at the time, and
right down the middle. The way that he got it in there, I thought was absolutely fantastic. All right, so that was the 5th best play. Now, this is actually what I felt was the 4th best play. A lot of people might disagree because it actually doesn't have a completion. But
big run by Herbert. Now the big pass.
You get to listen to this.
Williams trying to improv with those feet, keep the play alive. To the corner of the end zone.
That was one of the best plays in my book. I mean, I don't know what you have for 1, 2, and 3. I guess I can guess at least 2 of. I could guess all 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He already has a bit of a reel now going in just 2, not even full preseason games. Now, Odunze did better this week than what he did the week prior in terms of being in the spot Williams needed him in.
He wanted him to be. Yep.
But he's standing out of bounds. Now, I feel like, that Snickers commercial where the guy's painting the end zone and he says, "Who are the chefs?"
Right?
Why'd they paint an extra line behind the end zone?
I don't get it.
And it's still green. I mean, he still should have done it. No doubt about it. But that needs to be fixed before the season begins.
Yes.
What a bullet, though, right?
It was.
And how
definitely a bullet.
That guy had him. I mean, he's quicker. He's more athletic. But he does this little hip fake that just freezes that linebacker.
Right.
And then throws an absolute dart.
Which is what they talked about last week. The right? Like, that's exactly what he did. Like, and then, get to that corner.
Looked great.
It was fantastic. So I love that they worked on, like what you said, from last week, brought it to the game, literally 2 feet, not even like half a foot out of each.
Yep.
And I wish I got the picture. I'll send it to you, but someone posted, I think it was Greg Braggs, the CHGO, but they had the picture of the end zone this year versus the picture of it last year and how it was filled in last year. And this year it's like,
what are you doing?
And I know the pylon's there, but still,
That's
like,
stupid.
I hope they fix that. I hope the Bears complain about it. All right, here was number 3 for me.
They could also try to like own their stadium or something.
Oh, that's possible too.
Different episode.
All right, so this was number 3 for me. And I agree with you that could have been one of the other great plays.
So
right?
multiple of his top 5 are not even going to be completions. Is that what I'm sensing here?
Yeah, this one's not completed.
This would have been a touchdown.
Easily a touchdown.
I mean, good penalty by the corner because the Bears didn't even get 7 on this drive.
No, they only got 3. But what's interesting to me too, I don't want to say interesting, what I have a little bit of a problem with, and I know there was contact, but when you watch it slow, it's not as much contact as
Scott
like they
should have fought through it better.
I felt like he didn't track the ball very well, and that's a little concerning to me going forward. Right, like he kind of was like, oh, and then I know the pull, which probably did
helpful in drawing that penalty.
100%. If you listen, you talk about Jim Miller. If you listen to him in the broadcast, he's like, it looked like a horse collar.
Yeah.
If you watch the replay, he didn't like tug as much as what you would think actually happened. I think it was a little bit of both situations there.
When I watched it, at first I was like, that's not even that bad of a penalty, but then I saw he grabbed him a little earlier.
He did.
So I think that's really when.
And he still kind of got the jersey.
In fact,
right there towards the end.
I want to say, if you look at I think they gave the position of the penalty at like the 15.
Yeah.
Whereas where he fell was closer to like the 10.
Right.
So I think it was that initial tug and grab, but he should have just fought through it, scored the dang touchdown.
Exactly.
Especially when you only end up getting 3.
All right. So that was number 3. Now we're going to do the top 2 plays. All right, so I found the mute button, so you won't hear it this time. All right, you might recognize this play. It is Caleb Williams
doing his Justin Fields impression.
It honestly looks exactly like Justin Fields. I love Tevin Jenkins on this play. Boom, runs it in for a touchdown. Justin Fields was on the field that play. That's exactly like what Justin Fields would do.
But
one difference.
Yes.
You say it because I'm sure you're going to the same place I'm going.
When he escapes, he's still looking to pass
100%.
Until it's time to run.
Here we go. Boom. Boom.
Pocket presence.
Downfield.
Escapability.
Whoop.
Still looking to throw. Looking to throw.
Tevin gives him the lead block. He even gives him a little signal. Boom.
When he did the hand wave, do you think he had already determined he was going to run?
No.
Like sometimes you use that to set up the defenders.
He was still looking.
Yeah, he was still looking. But he can do both.
Right.
Definitely. And when you're 23, you can do both. When you're 30, you want to be able to do it with the arm.
Right. All right. So we're going to go to the first, in my opinion, his best play. All right. So now this, in my opinion, is what I think is his best play. And mainly because the outcome worked, right?
Right.
If it was that Odunze pass, it definitely would have been
yeah,
right?
You're right. If that was 7.
Yeah. All right, so here we go.
And the run wouldn't have even happened.
Correct. I would have had to find a different play. Probably the DJ Moore slant that DJ Moore didn't catch.
Well defended.
It was. But it was a perfectly placed ball.
Pocket presence again, escapability again, dime.
Thrown downfield.
Absolute dime.
Dime. And I don't like to use that word loosely.
Yeah.
But like he put that in the perfect spot.
What makes this even more impressive, Rob, is you might have missed one of his worst plays, although it was beautifully athletic. The play right before this, he didn't really set his feet there either, though.
He didn't, but that's his signature throw.
Yeah.
The one that you're talking about before this, his foot was...
And he just overthrew Everett and underthrew Odunze, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like in between. And
yeah.
But again, he even made that look pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, which one of the things I was really impressed with is, you mentioned how he started the game poorly. You saw how he ended it, at least his portion. really bounced back. And I really want to credit Eberflus. I texted you. We were in a text. I mean, it's time-stamped if we want to go down to the minute. But
yeah, I said
we
I
liked
asked
the
you.
idea of putting them back in. And you know what? I wouldn't have changed my mind if something really bad had happened. Because I felt they needed more reps. They went 3 and outs.
Yeah.
Now, I also support not having Moore and Allen in. They don't need the reps.
No.
But let Odunze have an opportunity to be the one. We
Correct.
saw what it produced.
Yes.
That play, the end around.
Yeah.
The one in the end zone, didn't get any stat sheets there, but experience.
I mean, again, it shows the growth that those two had, building off of last week. Basically doing the exact same thing this week, and a much better result, even though it still wasn't the touchdown.
Absolutely. I don't know, like, I probably will have some more Caleb stuff, but I could probably sprinkle it into just a general overview of the game.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then let's take our break, and we will get back to it. Talk more. Obviously, Caleb Williams wasn't the only one out there, right?
That's going to be a theme, at least through the preseason.
Yeah. Well, next week, I don't even know if they're going to play. So,
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, enjoy these ads.
And we are back. Hallis Huddle, episode 84, breaking down the preseason game where the Bears were victorious over the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe 27-3 was the final score.
Yep.
Bears defense, man. Not giving up very much so far this preseason.
The secondary, the defensive line.
We'll be talking about all that. But before we do, we better start mentioning it at the beginning as well.
Yeah.
But we have a sponsor. We're working with BetStamp, and we have a easy way for you to get in on the action, be able to bet through various sport books that you're interested in and get perhaps new user benefits if you're new. So all you need to do is go to signupexpert.com/huddle.
Huddle.
Not huddle up.
Huddle.
No huddling up on this one, just huddle. But you'll have the opportunity to bet on various things through all the sports books as well as daily fantasy.
Yeah. I think there's even, well, for Illinois, I think there's even 3 links to a casino app where you can do different casino games. But
if you're not in Illinois, all you have to do is put whatever state or province you're in, and it automatically will update with whatever ones are in your area that have deals that are, I'm trying to think of the word.
I mean, they're offers like
open to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. So first half of the show was all Caleb Williams. Now it's just this team that I'm pretty impressed with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one thing I'm just noticing as I'm like going through trying to take notes on this team, it wasn't long ago this was a complete teardown. You were 3-14. You were trading away everything that had value.
Yeah.
And now it's been built so well that there is extreme depth on this team.
Yep.
At many positions. I mean, making this team, we're going to do a 53-man prediction episode. I just declared that right now, by the way. We have to.
And to be honest,
because there's such good conversation around some of these decisions.
We'll probably not do much on the 4th game.
Yeah, we might not.
Right. And that might be when we push the 53.
We could do that. But there's so many pretty substantial decisions that are going to be made here.
Right.
And it's not like, I mean, who's going to be your wide receiver 5 and 6 type of thing is what we're talking about. But before, I mean, it was quite easy to figure out who was going to make the roster because there weren't very many top level players.
Right. But, we saw Dante Pettis have a hell of a game. Right. And, he can do some punt return-ish.
He proved he couldn't, in my opinion. But anyway, but the depth that this team has, I want to credit Ryan Poles, but I also feel like the coaching staff has coached some guys up. I mean, it really looks like there's actual development happening with the middle to lower level of the roster to the point where we talk about the secondary being a strength, but you're not just talking about Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Damn Gordon.
Yeah.
But all the way down to Blackwell. And
by the way, that was the guy.
Oh, played better than anyone out there?
Yeah.
I have one gripe, and it goes well with my BetStamp promo here. I wanted the Bears to have the lead
Yes.
at the end of the first quarter. And he had that sack where it's not even blindside. It was the guys should have seen it, but he didn't see him at all.
No.
How do you not strip that ball?
Other people made that comment on social media too. It may be a little bit nitpicky. It was his first game, right? He didn't play earlier, right? No.
Right. Yeah. So it's his first action. Now that was the first pick of Ryan Poles.
Yes.
Ever drafting, I think.
Yes.
Because they didn't have a first that year, and then the second they took Gordon and then Brisker. You wanted George Pickens.
Yes.
But Kyler Gordon, I mean, he had some ups and downs as a rookie. I think he's coming into form now, and we could see a pretty good breakout year from him playing the nickel, which in Eberflus's defense, I think is a prime position to do some damage. I don't know if they're going to continue to blitz like they have been, but why wouldn't you with these types of results? So, I mean, do you have more on Kyler Gordon?
Well, going off that a little bit, Matt Eberflus hasn't just been running the Tampa 2. Like, they've even been using a lot of single high safeties and bringing guys down into the other safety down in the box.
Gordon's playing like a safety, though.
Yeah.
He comes in. He's not afraid to hit on the run, tackles for loss.
Not at all. None of these guys seem to be afraid to hit. Maybe it's those hits principles that we're not hearing about anymore.
So I kind of looked at the game from some like positives, and then I don't want to act like there weren't negatives.
There were negatives.
But starting with Kyler Gordon and with the rest of the defense, I thought they had really good tackling.
Yeah.
Very good tackling. Like, I can't really think of too many missed tackles.
Which is something we did talk about in the Hall of Fame game. There were a lot of missed tackles.
True.
So there are building on it, right?
And beginning of the season, they always kind of act like that's something defenses need to be working on. We're talking into the regular season.
Right.
But if this is a sign of what's to come, hopefully that's something the Bears don't struggle with.
Yeah.
Which can help them out of the gate. Now, that being said, that gets you ahead of the chains. They could not get off the field on third down.
No. Oh, gosh.
Third down conversion.
Like third and 19.
I looked it up. I know. Third and humongous was still being converted easily.
Yeah.
Do you know the number?
No.
All right. Well, I know the number, so now it's a nice guessing game.
Okay.
So how about I tell you how many opportunities Cincinnati had, and you tell me how many you think they converted.
Okay. I like that.
All right. So out of 15 third downs.
15 third downs. I'm going to guess that they converted 7.
That's exactly right, my man.
Really?
And 1 for 1 on fourth.
Wow.
But still, 7 out of 15. And like you said, some of them were 3rd and 12, 3rd and
I remember a 3rd
16,
and 19,
maybe?
a 3rd and 16. Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
So that's got to be cleaned up.
And both similar conversions, I feel like, were on those plays because they seem to be running a zone defense and the receivers just sat down right in.
And no pressure.
Yeah, there was just nothing. Another thing, though, that I will point out that I did like, there was times where they just, and it was called out on the broadcast, replace the whole defensive line, right? Just get them fresh and it worked at times where they were getting pressure because their guys were not winded.
Well,
you're not going to see that obviously when you got Montez Sweat out there. But
I don't want to steer the podcast off too far, but this week there was a big non-move by the Bears in Matthew Judon was traded out of New England over to Atlanta. Kind of a strange move by some people's opinions, but Bears were in the conversation for him, meaning they might still want to bring in another guy across from Sweat.
Right.
But to your point, I think there are a lot of young guys who have potential who we'd like to see.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, when you look at what Yannick Ngakoue produced last year,
right,
I'd be less excited to see him on this team than just seeing what you can get out of Booker.
Yes,
He's
but
raw.
I also would, at this point, just rather have a guy like Yannick Ngakoue on this team and not give up a 3rd-round pick.
True. All it costs you there is money, and hopefully not that much the longer he's been out.
And we're talking about a 32-year-old defensive end who's coming off a torn bicep injury. I know they wanted him. I know they were in on it, as what all the reports were, but I also read that they pulled out once they found out that he wasn't going to be because he hasn't signed a contract with Atlanta, but the rumor is that he was pushing to get a new contract. Like, now he's saying he's going to play on the contract, but it wasn't a given. And according to Brad Biggs of Chicago Tribune, the Bears pulled out at that point. They didn't feel comfortable with it. I get it. Atlanta also signed Justin Simmons shortly after that, which they're clearly going all in.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins. I mean, they
His
got
backup.
Yeah, they're his backup. I mean, they do have a team to compete within their division.
You're right, and it's a weak division.
Yes.
So, like I said, I didn't want to steer it off. But overall, I think the schemes look good. Like both on offense, which you're installing a brand new system. Yeah. I like the type of actions, the type of looks. Guys are being schemed open. They're not running the same routes at the same depths.
Yes, we talked about that.
And that's on offense. And then on defense, just very clean football.
Yeah.
Except for the third down conversions. That's the one part I'm not really liking what I'm seeing. With clean football being mentioned, I just want to, every time a flag would go up, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, who's it on? Who's it on? It was the Bengals.
Yeah, 11, I think.
11 for 123 yards on the Bengals, only 4 for 38 yards for the Bears.
Yeah, it's huge.
Those are the types of things. We talked about field position earlier.
Yep.
Penalties. Those are the type turnovers.
Yeah.
3-0 Bears. This is why, there's a lot to be excited about, even beyond just Caleb Williams.
Right. Yeah. I have one negative.
I have 2.
2.
Okay. Since I have 2, I'll go 1.
Yeah. Let's do that. I like that.
So we kind of already mentioned
and we did not discuss this. So it's possible mine is the same as yours. I don't know.
I mean, we already kind of mentioned it, but I'm talking this game and going back to the Bills game, settling for field goals when you ought to be scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, one game you won, 33-6, the other 27-3. It doesn't seem like that mattered.
Right.
But when these are real games, 7-3 could be the difference in the game.
Right.
So that was 1 for me.
And as you said that, now I actually have 2. My biggest complaint is the lack of the run game in this game. We talked about how great it was against the Bills. The outside zone running was fantastic. And the Bengals play a different type of defense, which I think is good that they were able to get used to this. Again, is it possible because they saw them 2 days earlier might have played a part in this? But you're looking at your starters, and I'm not just saying the starters, but now you're talking your second string against their third string, your third string and fourth string against eventually their third and fourth string, but struggling to run the football. The best running play, in my opinion, was, I think he went for 21 yards, was a broken play that Khalil Herbert had nowhere to go and then
came back
around and, got that. And then the other one was the end around with Rome Odunze.
Well, I mean, let's not forget, although, when you said your 1s against their 2s, you would hope this wouldn't matter. But DeAndre Swift is going to be a big part of this team. He didn't suit up for a single snap. No. So I would hope, his presence matters. But you're right. They didn't have much of it going. Defensively, I feel they did a great job against the run.
Yes.
Yes. But you're right. Offensively, not as much. My last one. Simone Biles.
I should have went, and then you should have ended with that one.
Oh, you got. All right, you do yours, and then I'm coming back to Simone.
Okay. This is probably me being a little nitpicky.
I'm being nitpicky if my negative is on Simone Biles.
Mine's even more nitpicky.
Really?
Yeah, because there's nothing that says that this is going to be an issue. But Keenan Allen's looking a little slow. I don't think he has 1 catch in the preseason. And I know
I don't care at all, to be honest.
I know
0.
I know, but age can cause a problem. I'm just wondering if
age can also cause you to not give your best in a preseason
That's
game.
what I'm hoping, is that he's just playing at like 50-60%, right? Just not.
Like I said, I was thrilled that Eberflus kept Williams and Odunze in and their starting line.
100%.
And I was thrilled he took Keenan Allen out.
100%.
So
again, I said I was being nitpicky.
You're right. I'm being even more nitpicky. Okay. Simone Biles, what are you doing on a hot August day?
Yeah, what? That's the worst. That
you
might
didn't
be the
even
worst
need
part.
a damn jacket.
Right?
But you have to pick out a jacket and you think, this one with Green Bay Packers on it seems like a good one to wear to the first home Bears game I'm ever going to go to. as a Bears fan, I would presume.
Yeah.
Now, at a closer look, it is actually a Jonathan Owens jacket.
It is. But you couldn't have
clearly Green Bay logo. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Ask the Bears to make you one just like that one with Bears logos on it. That's 100%. Pretty bad.
You don't need actual photos of someone in a Bears jersey, as we have seen multiple times when people say, we want Keenan Allen to be a Chicago Bear, and he's still in a Chargers jersey, but boom, somebody photoshops it and it looks immaculate.
Not onto the already made jacket.
No, I'm saying make a new one, but you don't need him to be in a Bears uniform.
Right. You don't have to wait till...
Correct. He played in this game. You saw him making plays. Like
he looked good out there.
Yeah. To have him as a backup safety?
80 degrees and humid. And you go into your closet, say,
yeah,
let me get this hot-looking jacket with the Bears' most known rival of all time printed all over it.
Yeah, someone's got to educate her. I'm sorry.
Now I'm fired. This is the most heat I've ever had on the show, and it's about Simone Biles' attire.
That's awesome.
But that's how much I had to stretch for negatives about what we're seeing with the Bears.
Yeah.
All in all, I'm very pleased.
Yeah.
I know preseason games don't matter in terms of win-loss, but they matter in terms of the feel. They matter in terms of the flow. They matter in terms of those things. And are they perfect right now? Absolutely not. But clearly they're coming out and having a more impactful presence on the field than their opponents on a consistent basis.
And if the defense can play as well as they've been playing, it's okay that the offense starts out flat.
And the special teams.
And the special teams.
In all phases. Yes. I said Torrey Taylor. Santos has been nailing his kicks.
Yeah.
Coverage has been pretty good, I would say. With the new rule, it's hard to know.
Right.
But all in all, this is looking like a complete team.
I just don't want fans to get down right away. And I think it was starting to happen. It was happening on social media.
With the 3-and-outs?
Yeah. I mean,
too early.
3-and-out. And you saw some fans. I've seen people now mad about Caleb Williams. He's going to be a bust, or he's struggling too much.
People are stupid, right?
Oh, I know.
You didn't know this?
Oh, I know. Okay. I get it. I'm just saying we need to calm down.
And as you say that, I'm about to do the exact opposite because I got one more thing. Very important.
Wow, you're really bringing the fire tonight.
No, this isn't fire.
Okay.
This is important, though, that it be mentioned. Last week, I mentioned when he did the flipperoo. That's what I called that play.
I like that. Remember?
It was a bit of a no-look. And I said it was very
okay.
I think he kind of did a no-look flip. But anyway, I said it was very Mahomesian.
Yeah.
And I gave I don't want to sound like a meatball.
Right.
But
somebody else did.
During the game or shortly after, I believe.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill
said,
this guy looks like, and just kind of trails off. ...
Someone he may have played with.
May have won a title with,
maybe
or two. I'm not even sure. But
I think just one.
Just one.
Then they got him out of there. Yeah.
Because he was making too much money.
Exactly.
But if players, not just players, star players, not just star players who have played with Mahomes are seeing it, that's more than me on my couch saying it.
Correct.
But that being said, Caleb Williams was actually asked about it in his press conference, and I'm not quoting him.
Sure.
But in essence, he said, it's nice to hear that kind of stuff in terms of, I think that means there's some kind of respect out there, but I'm not trying to be like anyone else.
Exactly.
I'm Caleb Williams.
I love it.
And I try to be perfect, even though I know I can't be perfect. I try to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the perfect version of myself.
This kid is 22.
So, I mean, I love that answer. And I also love that it's even being asked, not by me, not by some random reporter, but it's being, thought of by people like Tyreek Hill. So lots to prove because Mahomes, flashy plays, all that, but he also has ring.
And he makes bonehead mistakes at times too.
You're right.
You see it, but he can come back from it.
You never feel like you're totally out of things when you have Mahomes on your team.
100%.
I would love to feel that way about a Bears quarterback. And it's starting to look like
please. I don't want to jump the gun, but please, it feels like it's getting to that way.
So I think I hit all my notes. Even if Caleb can't get it done, we know Tyson Bagent can.
He is proving that he's a very good QB2.
I want to just throw that in. You mentioned Dante Pettis, but those were coming from Bagent. They look like they have a good connection.
Yeah. But
that's
Colin Johnson, we haven't seen him
roster.
because of injury. So like Pettis stepped up.
Right.
And there's guys, I mean, Joshua Blackburn, like there's guys that you're just seeing over and over and over again. I mean, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we go with that next episode is if they don't play any of the starters, we don't have to discuss that.
Okay.
But we see some guys that make enough of an impact. We mention them, and maybe that's why they're making the 53 that we lead into.
So we've done before the 53 episomes, and you make yours, I make mine.
Yes.
I don't really know
Correct.
how your sausage is made,
Yeah.
so to speak. But what I was
not in the room where it happens.
Exactly. What I was thinking I might do this time around, and maybe this is already how you do it, I don't know. Again, they haven't had the type of depth where this might have been necessary. I'm going to go position by position and write down everyone I wish we could keep.
Yeah.
And it's going to be well past 53 if I do it that way.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I already think in the running back room, you're going to have some serious conversations where you're going to be cutting someone that you're going to have a little bit of a hard time cutting.
Yeah.
Whether that be Valus, whether that be Ian.
Not Ian Cunningham, like
Wheeling.
I messed up in
Ian Wheeling.
Not Wheeler.
Wheeler.
Not like I messed up in my the Hard Knocks episode. Yeah, I botched that.
Obviously I wouldn't have helped. So I'm going to kind of go about it that way, but I think that just shows there's going to be tough cuts on various position groups.
Yeah. So. Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm looking forward to that one. I think I'm going to have to start putting stuff together this week.
Same. All right.
I got nothing else.
Nothing else.
Bear
down.
Claws up.
Bears. Well, from that episode next